Upper body power exercises, you don't look at them terribly differently than the lower body in as much as the categories are vertical or horizontal. Okay. So for vertical, we're going to be taking a load and throwing it overhead. That's going to give us opportunities to mess with kettlebells. Now they really be a big difference than if you used a barbell or a dumbbell. There is something inherently different of kettlebell overhead and what we see in shoulder stabilization. So if the demand of shoulder stabilization and the technique required to manage a kettlebell takes away from the power output to do your push jerks, to do your push presses, etc., then that is a decision to make. It depends what you want to get better at. But you have all the same options, kettlebell versus a barbell, dumbbell. You don't have the option to release. So there is going to be a deceleration impact for your training of when you're pressing overhead. But that's where a ball or a sandbag, or even if you do use a bell in a unique situation, tons of things that you can let go of and maintain clear power. There's always going to be some utility to slowing down something that's inherently powerful, but you are not probably training 100% power when you don't let go of the object. For something that's more horizontal, dare I say, Smith machine may have utility other than hanging some things on it, where you can let go for this type of movement. Now, you could also argue that the bench press is now in a supported, stabilized environment. Okay, you don't want to do that. So obviously that gets to our push-ups. So push-ups can be done explosive. They can be done plyometric. Clap push-ups would be some form of definition. But remember, the idea of plyometrics is that when you do establish that stretch, can you train the stretch shortening cycle to be your friend? So there's a difference between just an explosive push-up and a truly plyometric impact, and which tendon are you really trying to impact? That's your first piece. But obviously you do have options of one arm and two arms, and a one arm push-up explosively is a significant demand. And the creativity of how do you achieve a potential stretch shortening cycle by introducing further range of motion. There's a lot of creativity there, but you got presses overhead, parallel, horizontal, and then you have one arm or two arms. But now you also, rather than focus on the direction of things that you could do with your lower body, what can you do with power training for your upper body in multiple planes? It's not the direction of where you project your body, but it's the rather, are we going to be using exclusive rotation? And what are we doing with our med balls? And again, you are letting go. I do think it's a very, very useful training tool to teach and maintain sequence, is to actually connect the med ball to the wall so that you are maximally stabilized there. And that may or may not have utility for every individual, but for somebody who just looks awful or is not understanding how to really explode and let go of the ball at the right time, even if it's in a general fashion, connecting to the wall, like jamming the ball into the wall, can be very, very useful. That's where multi-throws, repeated throws, you can be in some of the cardinal planes in terms of whether you're rotating. There isn't a whole lot we can do in the frontal plane, but you can change your lower body position. That again will significantly decrease your power, but add to your movement variability. And it's not like you're not training power, but when you start to add planes in the lower body with your different med ball throws or multi-throws, you will likely lose something, but you'll gain potentially something else. It's very hard to describe where they might fit into the program for people that, again, I would not go to the frontal or the transverse plane and add this fanciness and complexities until you are really dialed in with the power approach and you've exhausted what you're going to get out of that. But I think moving in multiple planes for multiple reasons has an important value.